Hi everybody, Cindy here with Pathways Homestead, and I am continuing my garden tours, and this video will be on the little garden and how well it is doing. So our little garden is our early spring and our fall garden. That's where we typically plant most of our spring and fall garden. So it's a little bit of a rotational garden, and we like to do that little bit of succession planting in it. And it's smaller, it's easier to maintain, and you know, we got a little bit of video of Gary and I trying to tame it and get it under control. And so I'm just going to give you a tour. There are some plants that are left from the early spring garden, and some new plants, and some plants you guys watched me plant, and I'll just give you an update on them. So, as many of you know, we struggled with our green beans in the big garden this year for the ones that should have been ready in June, that we planted in the spring. We should have been harvesting in June and July, and they just died. We just could not keep them alive. So that led us to make the decision that we would not plant spring bush beans anymore. That we would continue planting our fall bush beans, because that is the second, at least the second and possibly the third year in a row that we have had it was the second year for a complete failure, and the third year for a struggle. So the year before, last year, so in 18, we struggled with our beans, and they just didn't do really well for summer. But we have fabulous success with fall beans, and so that has what's kept us going and being able to have enough to can was the fall green beans. We would really like to have enough beans to share and sell at the farmers market. So we're just going to plan next year's garden to leave a couple rows, or have some rotational, some rows that we can rotate out, and push planting fall green beans for next year, and that be our big push with green beans, and not mess with them in the spring. And if we do, it'll be a small batch and not as big of a spot, and possibly just be in this little garden. We'll just see what next year brings. But guys, I've got some exciting stuff to show you guys. Beans, and these are our tenderette bush beans, and look at those guys. You guys watched us plant those in a previous video, and I'll put a link to that video up right here. Look at those, they're doing great. They'll be blooming soon. As you can see, they'll be blooming real soon. And then we have our Swiss chard left. It is doing really well. And the kohlrabies down there on the end, they're not doing so hot, but we've got them growing still. We've planted another succession planting of peas in this, and these are just regular peas. They're not the Alaskan snow peas. They are just a regular production pea that we can shell and hopefully freeze or can. And here's some more of those tenderette bush beans, and I have a few black turtle beans down here. Right here's where the black turtle beans start. And we still have some carrots down there on the end. Here's another row of tenderette bush beans. So hopefully this will give us enough to can this year if everything goes right, and we can get a good production out of these. And these were planted about a week or 2 weeks behind that other row of beans. But the carrots are coming out. We're going to be pulling those carrots real soon. We've been digging them some, and it's just about time for them to be done. And then look at those zinnias down there on the end. I am so enjoying the zinnias this year. Zinnias, however you pronounce it. Now, I normally have sunflowers in this garden, and I do have a few this year. There's my lone sunflower. Let's see if we can get closer to him. It's my lone sunflower. He's kind of droopy today. He's got some bugs bugging him. And I've had some other ones, but as you can see, something comes and chews them off. I don't know if the grasshoppers are doing that or if they're just breaking off. That guy hadn't even opened up yet. And he's already been eat off. So I'm not sure what's doing that, but I don't know. We have a few more. Look, this guy didn't get opened up either. Something chewed him off, or he just broke off, I'm not sure. This is our kale row. Starts about right here. And so we still have some kale left, and we've been eating a little bit of kale out of there. I don't know if you guys are familiar with kale. It gets a little bitter in the heat. So kale and our leeks, and we're finally getting some size on those leeks. And so looks like they're getting ready. Their leaves are looking kind of puny. I did weed them the other day, so that may be the problem there. And then we have a resurgence in our yellow wax bush beans. We had a whole row of them that lost, or not, I guess it wasn't a complete row. We had a half of a row in the big garden of these, and I just threw in my remainder seed here on the end where we had planted some giant kale that didn't germinate. And they are coming back, and look, got a bean. So some of them are completely dead, but some of them are coming right back. I don't have any more of those seeds to replant, but that's okay. And then in this row here, where the leeks are, we planted another planting of beets all the way down, except for where the leeks are, of course. And then on the side right here, I came in and side dressed, and they haven't germinated, so I'm not sure I'm going to get any. I side dressed cucumbers, just trying to get some cucumbers, and that is not looking promising. We may have a pickle shortage this year, and it'll be all right. We'll get through. If you guys remember, last year we struggled with pickles as well. But some years, that's just the way it goes. So we ended up with 6 crops from our spring planting still in the garden. 7 if you count my zinnias. And so that would be the Swiss chard and the kohlrabies, carrots, kale, wax beans, and leeks. I hope I didn't miss anything. I'm going to kind of turn around and look. Swiss chard, kohlrabi, kale, beans. Yep, 6, 7 if you count the zinnias. So that's our little garden this year, and it's looking pretty promising on this being a pretty long video. So I'm going to get busy. I'll probably shoot one more video. You guys probably see that I do a lot of batch filming, and it just makes things go easier. Sometimes our weather doesn't cooperate because we're in Kansas. We're in the hills, and we don't have that many trees, and so the wind gets pretty bad. And right now we are having a nice fall weather. It's cool. It's in the 70s right now. It's super cool. It is morning. It's Tuesday morning. So it's pretty cool. And we've got a nice breeze out of the north, keeping things cooled down a bit, which is way better than our typical upper 90s to 100 or over for Kansas this time of year. And the goats are coming to check me out and see what I'm doing, because their pasture's just off over here. And they're thinking I'm going to bring them something good. They think I've been out here pulling weeds. If you can hear, Gary's running the trimmer, the Husqvarna trimmer. He calls it my weed eater on wheels, which that's what it is. And he's running that today, getting a spot ready for some new animals. So we'll see what that new animal is. And it'll be coming next week, we hope, if everything works out. And so we will see you guys next time. Thank you for coming along with me today, and once again, I just pray you're having a blessed day. And remember that you are loved and that you have a purpose, and that God doesn't have accidents. So you're not an accident. You're here for a reason. There's a purpose for you. And if you need that purpose, you can start with love God and love others. Your purpose is to love Him and to love others as yourself. Those are the two greatest commandments that Jesus said that there are. And those commandments can be a purpose. And I just would encourage you to grow something too. You would not believe how much growing something helps you. If you're not growing anything and you're struggling with depression or struggling with purpose, find it. It's okay to have a rest time if you need a rest time. If you're going through big changes in your life and you need a rest time, it's okay to have a rest time. But don't forget your responsibilities that you have. Get those responsibilities taken care of. And then have a little bit of a rest in the downtime. But it's okay if you're struggling. I'll be honest, I had a rough day yesterday, and I have a fabulous group of friends and an amazing husband, and it's my own fault. I have not been eating right, and I've not been drinking enough water, and I've not been getting enough sunshine, even though I'm out in the sun every day. I didn't take my thoughts captive like the Bible tells us to. And so, yeah, and with Hannah going to school, I've got a whole lot more on my plate. But thankfully, you know, Gary's home with me more, and he can help me to get things accomplished, and we're getting so much more accomplished. He can help me prioritize, to whereas I get overwhelmed with my list and put way too much on my list to get accomplished and can't get it accomplished, and then sometimes I'll get a defeated attitude. And so, yeah, he's an amazing blessing to me. I'm thankful for him, and God knows what He's doing, y'all. He sent me an amazing man, and I am very, very thankful that I have him. But that's off on that rabbit trail. So, again, if you're struggling, reach out to somebody, and, you know, find a group, find a tribe of people that will help you, that will lift you up, that will carry your burden sometimes, and that will encourage you to keep going. And so, yeah, and sometimes it's the next step. Sometimes you can get so focused on what needs to be done that you can't find the steps to get there. And sometimes it's like, okay, write it all down, evaluate it, and then what's the first step to get that first one accomplished, the most important thing accomplished of the day. And so, yeah, so my whole world's been shook up. I'm trying to find a new routine. I've had a lot of changes. So, but I'm doing great today, and got sunshine, and the zinnias are gorgeous. So, yeah, I'm enjoying those zinnias, and I've been harvesting seeds off those, so hopefully I will be able to plant them again next year. And I just mixed my seed, so I have zinnia seed in there in a jar that I have the lid off of so to completely dry, make sure it's completely dry. That are these frizzle zinnias, and also the real pretty little traditional zinnias. So we'll see what next year brings with those zinnias. And I do have some seed that I bought on clearance out there too. I found a cobweb. Well, guys, I'm gonna get at it. I still need to film the big garden, and I'm gonna get that shot and let you see what's going on there. It's a hot mess, I'll tell you, it's a hot mess. But I'm gonna get busy and get some weeding done here in this little garden before I move over there. So thank you guys for watching, and I pray you have a blessed day.